What an environment at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for Game 2 of the Eastern Conference NBA playoffs first round between the Pacers and Bucks. Dominic Miranda here in downtown Indianapolis. This was the site of an absolutely deafening crowd for this Game 2 matchup between Milwaukee and Indiana. Rick Carlisle saying after the game, it's as loud as he's ever heard this place. Now remember, he was a part of NBA Finals, Eastern Conference Finals in this building. That's some high praise from your head coach talking about the fans that were here on Tuesday night. And the Pacers gave him a lot to cheer about. 123-115 your final. Pascal Siakam, 24 points, 11 boards. Tyrese Halliburton, 21 points, 12 assists. 6 Pacers in double figures. Another full team effort. They can win in multiple ways no matter how you slice it. This team just finds a way to continue ending up on top even when the going gets tough in this game and keep a team at arm's length. They led by as many as 16. The Bucks did not lead in this basketball game. It was a wire-to-wire victory for Indiana on Tuesday night in Game 2. An impressive performance. There's no doubt about it. Now the Pacers are taking a 2-0 series lead to Wisconsin. Game 3 on Friday. Eli Gain will be there. So be sure to give his coverage a watch as he takes in Games 3 and 4 up in Milwaukee. Let's get you to the post-game analysis and reaction from Rick Carlisle, Tyrese Halliburton, and Pascal Siakam.
Rick, the Bucks have thrown different defenses at you guys the whole series so far, and you guys have been able to adjust to them and still score. What do you that say about both your players' ability to adjust and the prep you guys have had for these games so far?
Well, we were fortunate tonight. We slowed down in the fourth quarter, and we got into a lot of isolation stuff instead of moving the ball the way we're capable. And so, credit Milwaukee for a switching defense that got us up against the clock, and so we're going to have to do better there. Look, we know we can score points, but there's a lot more to this than just scoring points. Look, Giannis and Lillard are two forces of nature out there, and we just got to find a way to do a better job, and try to limit Giannis a little bit more. When he just gets in there and just dunks the ball, it's tough. And Lillard had an amazing game considering the circumstances, and so. But I credit our guys a lot. Down the stretch, they threw a hellacious punch to get it to 2. Pascal hit as big a shot as you're ever going to see in the playoffs on the right wing. We were able to survive. And so, the building was as loud as I've ever heard it. And, I've been in here for the finals games in 2000 and a lot of conference finals games, and it's never been louder than it was tonight. So a big thank you to our fans, because that really helps us.
You guys didn't have that reality last year. How do you have to coach differently, or what's important to you for your team in that scenario going forward?
What scenario?
Being up 2-0 for the first time with this group.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to analyze every last little thing, just for the sake of analyzing it. I mean, we got to look at the next game. And we did some very good things to win the game. And look, it's a 48-minute game, and a lot of the stuff that happens in the first quarter really matters. It really matters. And so the rebounding needs to be better. That's certainly one thing. I think our recognition offensively can be better. At times we slowed down when we needed to be playing faster. And look, Game 3 in Milwaukee is going to be one of the tougher environments you're ever going to see in an NBA playoff game, and we'll need to be prepared for that as well.
You mentioned the shot that Pascal hit. Obviously, Andrew hits another one on top of that. Just how big was it for him to come through the way that he did, but also the defense you got from him, largely taking on the assignment of taking on Dame for this game. What would you like about just what you got from him across the board?
Yeah, I mean, Nembhard is a terrific competitor, and the bigger the challenge, the more he loves the opportunity to rise to the challenge. Again, we put him in a tough spot on the step back he hit on Giannis. I mean, it wasn't a good possession. He got stuck with the ball with 6 or 7 seconds and manufactured, a big time shot, which we obviously really needed. So we want to avoid those situations whenever we can. But, good teams like Milwaukee are going to put you in some tough spots. And, in those situations, you need somebody that can make a play. And he did. And, it was a very big moment.
No, obviously you've come to expect this from Pascal, but I mean he's certainly giving you the sturdy, I guess, play that you've expected. In the first couple games of this, just how important is he, and how, I guess, fitting is it that he hits the shot that you absolutely need to have there.
Yeah, he's been our rock really all year. From start to finish, he's been so consistent, and he has the experience. The game is. It slows down for him. He's never in a hurry, unless he needs to be. And he, in most cases, he's the one that decides. So, that was a very, very big play. And then, he had a lot of other big plays. I mean, the guy goes 8 for 16 for 24 points, and I can think of a couple other drives where, I thought there was contact and there was no whistle, but he still finished it. And they're just big plays. So. There's a lot of great players in the series, and he's one of them.
Rick, what's the quality in a team that allows it to kind of finish games in that situation, right, where you take a big punch like that, like you said? There's a thin line between finishing and maybe folding, and that, I don't know, is there a certain growth that you've seen, and what's that quality, the primary quality?
Well, we've had a lot of challenges this year, been in a lot of close games, a lot of clutch games. I don't know where we rank, but early in the year, it seemed like almost every game we were playing for a while was a clutch game, and we were, the game, and we were not winning at the rate that we normally did for various reasons, but the games that we were winning were clutch games, and so we've got some experience with this, and you just got to assume that playoff games are going to be clutch games. That's just the nature of them. And so you got to embrace that, and we've got to be prepared to execute. And sometimes executing isn't calling a play. Executing is being true to your capabilities as a ball movement team, and that's where we're going to have to be better in the next game.
Rick, obviously this playoffs started off much better than last year's set of playoffs. So how much does a 2-0 start help you guys have the momentum going through the rest of the series, and how big was this win today?
Well, we've done our job, and that's all we've done. We've protected home court, and now the scene shifts, and their building will be wild on Friday and Sunday, and so we've got to be prepared, and this is a new situation for a lot of the guys on our team, and so as we move into it, those of us that have been in these situations have got to help prepare our guys, but we've got to have a strong element of simplicity with it, and so tonight, and going into tonight's game, a big thing was how we channel our energy, and all things considered, we did a good job of it. On the road, it's going to be probably even more challenging.
There was an anonymous player poll that came out, and the players voted Tyrese as the most overrated player in the league. He's been candid about.
Yeah, I heard about this, and the other guys on the list were Jimmy Butler and Giannis. All right, and I want to see the guys' faces that voted those guys. I want to see the faces of those guys. All right. This is a bullshit poll. Not everybody even answered in the poll. All right? Guys were able to answer if they wanted to. They were asked on camera or with a microphone. The whole thing's bullshit. Okay? And it's just it's really a shameful thing. It's just a shameful thing. All right? Jimmy Butler would be a finalist for MVP if he had gotten to Golden State a month and a half earlier. I mean, what that guy's done. And Giannis, are you kidding me? I'm done. Thank you.
How you guys have adjusted to whatever coverage the Bucks have thrown at you through these 2 games so far. What do you attribute that to? If it's preparedness, something about the way you guys play, how has that been able to happen?
Yeah, I think just over the course of the season, we see every coverage. We see some teams that play a drop, some teams at the level, some teams switch. Everybody does something a little different, and especially in our conference. You look down the line at teams in our conference, everybody plays you a little different. So I feel like we're prepared. We had a good week of prep. We know we're going to see some man out there, some drop with Brooke, switching with Bobby, some zone. We're prepared, and I feel like we've done a great job of adjusting to whatever's being thrown at us.
You some shots in the first game, 21 points tonight. What did you feel like you did better today than in game 1?
I was getting in the paint, being aggressive from the start of the game. I thought I got a lot of good looks last game. They just didn't fall. So it gave me confidence coming into today that, I would make shots. Got a good couple of days of work in and felt good coming in today. So, it's a good win for us.
You've told us before you're 2 online. Did you see the anonymous player poll that came out today?
I did.
What was your reaction to that, and did it at all impact the way you played today?
It didn't impact the way I played today at all. I must be doing something right, if that's the case. I don't have a big speech or comment on it. I mean, all I care about is this locker room and winning games, and we're in position to, go to Milwaukee and continue this series on. So not too worried about that. I know I am. I'm confident in my own skin and not worried about what anybody thinks. My teammates trust me. So does my front office, my coaching staff. So I'm good. I could care less.
Obviously, they come back to within 2 points in the last 2 minutes. You get 2 big shots from Pascal and Drew. Obviously, those guys have been kind of sturdy players you've been able to rely on. Just how big were those 2 shots, and how much does it say about those 2 guys and the kind of competitors they are?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of good looks down the stretch, a ton. I missed a wide open one. I think Pete missed a wide open one. Miles missed a wide open one. Drew missed a couple. We missed a lot of good looks. But I feel like, down the stretch we haven't. Me specifically, I haven't been great down the stretch these last 2 games, but I feel like Drew did a great job of settling us down, making some big, timely shots for us, Pascal as well. So I thought we had a lot of different guys chip in today, make big plays. I thought Obi made a big shot in the corner there in the 4th as well. We had a lot of different guys step up. So, I think that's just a part of our resilience and a part of, the last month or 2 playing in some crazy-ass games and having to win in many different ways. So it's about just figuring it out. We're up 2-0, so, we'll take it.
Pascal is obviously the guy you had to rely on the first 2 games last year. He's given you not quite those level of numbers, but, sort of close to it in the first 2 games, also giving you some, as good of defense as you could, I guess, ask for against Giannis. What's just impressed you about what he's done? I guess how much does he continue to be a sturdy rock for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, this is who Pascal Siakam is. He's been a steady presence for us all year. So glad that he's on our team. I think he could be the most underrated player in the NBA, to be honest with you. I mean, I think what he does is on a nightly basis amazing. He's so consistent, so steady. Does a great job of calming us down, me down specifically at certain times. And, I just am really appreciative of him kind of playing that big bro, mentor role for our group and us as a young group. And I feel like, him having played in big games like this, he knows what to expect. And, I think that's why, we've had success these last 2 years in the playoffs. He's a big reason why.
Right here, Ty, back here. Then you can get to James. So obviously a different position this time around with being up 2-0 to start the playoffs. So how does that change the mentality heading into Game 3? Just how big was this win for you guys' confidence?
Yeah, I think it's just doing your job. Winning at home is just doing your job. I think I've always been told that playoff series don't start till you win a road game. So, if we can go out there and get one, the goal is definitely to go get 2, but get 1 at a time. Focus on Game 3, understanding we're going to go into a hostile crowd, understanding that there won't be a ton of Pacer fans out there in Milwaukee. It's going to be hostile. So we got to be prepared for that, have each other's back, be prepared for antics and all that stuff that goes on through the course of the games, and just, stick with it. And, we have a lot of faith in each other. So, the goal is to go into Milwaukee and just take it, 1 game at a time.
So I know you said you were aware of what's said about you and things like that. But when you're in the game, you're like, dunk the ball, yell at the ball, you talk to the crowd, talk to the other team. Like, how do you sort of, or maybe what have you learned about just balancing whatever energy you give when you're out there and kind of staying within yourself, playing with joy and passion and rage and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's who I am. I mean, anybody who's watched me play throughout my career knows who I am. I'm an emotional guy. I play with my emotions. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I want to win, and I could care less about what comes for me individually. I just want to win. That's what want to be known as when I'm done, is just how did I impact winning. And I think I'm just going out there trying to play free, trying to play fun, have fun out there rather, and just trying to be who I am. But also understanding sometimes over the course of a game I can get caught up in, stuff that doesn't really matter. And, I think Coach Carlisle, James, Pascal do a great job of bringing me in and calming me down at times, which is much needed. But I think if they tried to take away my passion, my fire for the game, it probably wouldn't bode well for me. I feel like I'm an emotional player, a guy who plays, likes to have joy, likes to have fun. And I know that if you're not a Pacer fan, a lot of people don't really care for that, but I don't give a fuck. I want to win, so that's really just the way I feel. And I'm not going to change who I am to please other people. I think I've had a lot of success by being me and being who I am. And so if people want me to change that, it really doesn't matter to me.
There's been a couple of, tense moments, I guess, in this series, just, words exchanged. But is that just really a product of you guys have faced each other a lot in big games the last couple of years, these two teams? How much of it is that? And then, just is there anything brewing between you and Dame, just as two real competitors, I guess?
Just competitors. I think that's what it is. He wants to win, I want to win. It's the highest level. We're in the highest level in the most contentious moment here in the playoffs. He wants to win, I want to win. We want to win, they want to win. So it's just competition at the end of the day. But, yeah, I mean, we don't have to sit here and act like, it's any secret. We don't like them. They don't like us. And that's just what it is. And I think they live for this, we live for this. So, I could care less. I'm out here just trying to help my team win games. So there's got to be a little bit of back and forth. There's got to be a little back and forth. But I'm here to win.
I was actually just going to ask about the same thing. I mean, is all that's sustaining it just who's talking back and forth in these games? I mean, is there anything deeper than that? And how, I mean, you're talking about a situation where it's almost you're getting multiple technicals every game. Is that all that's sustaining this at this point and keeping it at that level of back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're going to continue to see that through the course of the series. I mean, like we said, everybody says, the league rivalries aren't here anymore. Well, it's right here, So, this is an interesting series. We've played each other, it feels like, 1,000,000 times over the last 2 years. I feel like I've seen every different coverage that they could throw at us, and I feel like those guys probably feel the same way about us. But, there's still a lot of series to go, a lot of games to play. So I'm sure there'll be more heated moments, more competitive moments. But, all we care about is winning. All the extracurricular stuff is extracurricular. But it's fun. It's fun. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It's some fun shit now. But, yeah, we want to win, they want to win, and it's just competition at the end of the day. But, we ain't running from it.
Yeah, just to start, obviously they get back within, and that three comes to you. Obviously, just sort of, I guess, take us through that play, basically, and when they come back that much, how important was it just to have an answer in that moment?
Obviously we know that, they're going to keep going. They're not going to quit. They're a really good team, so they made a run, and yeah, we missed a lot of open shots, to be honest. But that happens in some parts of the game, and I was wide open, and it's probably was like that for a lot of the shots that we had at that time. So I'm just taking with confidence and shoot it and win it.
Just obviously they made it a little bit hard to get in the paint, especially with all the switching they were doing. I mean, just what are you concerned about in that stretch in terms of process, and what did you guys have to, kind of get right, I guess, to get, some balance?
We got to stay within what we do, be ourselves. I think that's the response to that, and just continue to be us. I'm sure we're going to watch film and try to find ways to continue to have the flow and the things that make us dangerous as a team.
Obviously, the last season, the first two games of this series, this team really relied on you a whole lot, and obviously you've still been just as productive in these first two. How is it different this time for you in terms of still having to come up with that production, and how are you being leaned on differently, I guess, than you were last year?
No, I think obviously the guys know me a little bit more. I think I just try to be a voice to the team and making sure that, obviously I've been in these situations before, so make sure they hear my voice when it's needed. And out there on the floor, just continue to play together, be together, and be that person that can kind of settle everybody down. And I just try to stay steady through everything. And like I said, the playoffs is a lot of emotion, it's a lot of ups and downs, and we just gotta try to stay porous through everything. And I know it's a hard task, but we gotta keep doing it.
Assignment of having to guard Giannis first, mostly. I mean, just what has that assignment been like this time around? What do you feel like you've done well in those circumstances, and what's again, it's a heck of a matchup. But I mean, what do you feel like you've done well, and what do you look at and saying these are the area where I can do it better?
He's coming out of these games, what do you have today? So I gotta continue to do a better job. Try to make it as hard as we can on him. He's a tough cover. But yeah, we just gotta go game by game and try to get better. Obviously, I'm not gonna talk a lot about that. But like I said, I think you look at the points that he had. It's like we gotta do better. I gotta do better.
Pascal, Tyrese was pretty honest. He said, we don't like them, they don't like us. But I'm wondering to ask you, does it bring out a little extra juice when you have a team that you have like a lot of recent history with, and it's a rivalry, right? I mean, does that add any extra edge to it?
No, it's the playoffs. I mean, if you need an edge in the playoffs, we got a problem. So this is the time to go out there, give everything we have. And all the edge we need is just the fact that we're in the playoffs and we're fighting for our lives and fighting for something super important as a team that we want to accomplish. And we got to give everything we have. So to be honest, that's the focus.
Okay.
Pascal, a lot of your teammates mentioned your voice being important last year throughout the postseason. This is a lot of their first times being up 2-0. What is different about playing with a lead, and what do you tell your teammates in this moment?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, to be honest. The games are not the same. I've been in a lot of games, where I've been in a lot of situations, and so it doesn't really matter. We can't look at the score. We can't look at where we at. We got to attack it game by game, and we about to go on the road. It's about to be tough. I'm sure the fans are going to be there. They're going to give them everything. I'm sure they're going to be ready for it, to throw everything that they have. So we just got to take it game by game and just focus on that game, because this is going to be all these leads or whatever. We won, we didn't win, but the games are not the same. They don't look the same at all. Every single game is different, and we just got to approach it that way. And I have 1,000,000% confidence on my team, and we just got to go out there and fight as hard as we can.
Pascal, Ty said you're arguably the most underrated player in the league. We had a poll come out today, and they voted Tyrese is the most overrated player in the league. Your thoughts on that, but also playing with the player who is unapologetically himself, because he says he's never going to change and he's going to go out there and try to help you guys win.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's light skin. I don't know. But nah, man, I think, again, he's super, super duper talented. The things that he brings to our team, is you can't. Obviously, you can look at the assists and you can have the impact that he has on our team. Like, moving the ball, he's a general out there. He makes us go. So we're going to ride with Tyrese, to the wheels fall off. And I think, for me, he's such a special player just because he can impact the game, not just by scoring, but being able to open the floor for everybody else, putting everybody in the right positions, and doing it with a swag. So at the end of the day, some people are going to like it, some people are not going to like it. I think he's an unselfish player out there when he plays, and he has one thing in mind, is to win, and he's always thinking about how to make us better. I have multiple conversations to him about, how he can make me better as a player, that's not every day that you find players like that, and he's a special person, he's a special player, one of the best. So he just got to keep that confidence, be himself, do what he do. And, some people are going to like you, some people are not going to like you. And as long as for us, continue to have him, and hopefully it can lead to a lot more wins, we'll be all right.
obviously the story outside of the fact that the Pacers get a win and get that 2-0 series lead is the chippiness, the physicality of this series. There's no secret. These teams do not like each other. Tyrese Halliburton and Damian Lillard going at it for the second straight game. This time Damian Lillard was actually playing. That's a good point right there. Damian Lillard back in action for the first time in over a month and the first time in these NBA playoffs. Just 11 points out of Dame. Now, coming back from a blood clot, that is no easy task. It's a miracle he's out here to begin with, but not as significant as contributor as maybe the Bucks would have hoped here in Game 2. But this game was chippy. This series is going to be chippy. These two teams do not like each other. It's setting up for what should be a highly anticipated and must-see TV of Games 3 and 4 up in Wisconsin. So the Pacers get it done here in Game 2, 123-115. Coming up after the break, Tony East of Locked On Pacers joins me as we continue our post-game analysis of this game and this series between the Pacers and Bucks. We'll see you right after the break. Hey everybody, welcome to downtown Indianapolis. Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the site for yet another Pacers win here in the postseason, taking a 2-0 series lead over the Milwaukee Bucks here in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Joining me, as always, Tony East of Locked On Pacers. And Tony, another impressive performance from this Pacers team. It seems like that they can win in multiple different ways and shooting the ball a lot better in this game against the Bucks, but getting the 123-115 win. Your impressions of this one?
Yeah, that's what I was asking guys about after the game. Is through 2 games they've had no trouble scoring or getting the shots that they just want every possession, right? And the Bucks have thrown different coverages at them. They've switched. They've gone to zone. They've soft switched with some guys, but not others. I can't explain it better than a player or a coach could, but it's always looked different. But the Pacers have still mostly been able to get to the shots they want, whether that's an open three, whether that's something at the rim, whether that's the right player taking a mid-range shot. They've been all over it for basically all of their first 2 games of the series, and that means even when the Bucks punch comes, they're up 15. That's okay. They've got a bunch of buffer. They've been playing very well on the offensive end, and that's been the story of the series so far. The Bucks can't stop them.
No, and throughout that game, the Bucks would get it under 10 points, and the Pacers would stiff arm them. Under 10 points and stiff arm them. They led by as many as 16, I want to say, in this game. The Bucks never led in this basketball game. They got it to 2 down the stretch, but as we've grown accustomed to, just big shot after big shot. Pascal Siakam, a huge 3. Obi Toppin, a huge 3 right here in this corner, and Andrew Nembhard to seal it. Is there something to be said about continuing to get away with it, I guess, in a sense? Like, every time it's a close game, the Pacers hit the shots they need to, and they find a way to get on top.
I've jokingly called them the escape artists. They keep doing this, and what they said during the regular season was, we're happy to be doing this now because when the playoffs come, we'll know how to win these games. And on one hand, you think that's probably true, but on the other hand, you think the playoffs are way different. You just never know. Right. Today, they proved they were right? They got to 2 late. They take a timeout. They come down. Pascal Siakam's wide open from right over there for a 3. Andrew Nembhard hits a huge one over Giannis right behind us. Massive shot, right? And deserved, smiles and some pointed moments from both groups after that. But, that's the kind of stuff they did all season. In those tight moments, they found ways to either get shots that win it or score, right? And the Bucks didn't score on their big possessions after that. Pacers pulled in the rebounds. That you can criticize them and should for giving up that 13-0 run, but they responded the way that good teams do, and that's why they're up 2-0.
Yeah, a chippy basketball game, a physical basketball game. We've grown accustomed to this with these two teams. Tyrese Halliburton said after the game, feels like these two teams have played a million times the past 2 years. It feels like that for the media as well. Yeah. Damian Lillard back, his first action in a month. First time in the playoffs this year. Just 11 points. It wasn't too much, and you weren't going to expect too much from him coming back from a blood clot. I mean, that's a miraculous recovery just to be playing in the postseason. But a lot of jawing, a lot of physicality to the point where Rick Carlisle and the players after the game were asked about it. What do you take of this chippiness? Is it just competitiveness? Is there something more to it?
I remember last year they played in the NBA Cup Finals and had those crazy regular season games and the Ballgate drama and everything. And the players were asked a lot. Is this a rivalry now, right? These are chippy. You guys have played 5 regular season games. They all said something to the effect of, not till we meet in the playoffs. And then they did last year. And that added to it, of course, the Pacers walking away with the winners in that series. Then again this year, they play several intense games, a close one in Milwaukee, Tyrese Halliburton's game winner here. Right. The amount of times they play being in division, the number of important games they've played. If this series goes to 5, they'll play 20 times in 2 seasons. It's just remarkable. That's how rivalries are built. You just come to hate a team that beats you a lot or you beat them a lot, and you see them all the time, like those chippy moments and those things you say just keep ramping up and up and up. And I think you see that even during the regular season and in the playoffs when everything's heightened from scouting reports to emotions. Yeah, these teams definitely show that they don't like each other. But I think so far has not spilled in anything too much.
No.
Last year they had a few moments where it did.
Teetering, but not too much. Tyrese Halliburton said after the game, he's like, look, we're not sugarcoating it. We do not like them. They do not like us. Many times there were technical fouls, flagrant fouls, a lot of talking, especially coming from Damian Lillard. Unbiased opinion here. A lot of talking coming from that young man. But, okay, so we're 2-0 series lead heading into Milwaukee. That's exactly what you wanted to do if you're the Pacers. Last year it was always starting the series down 0-1, and having to kind of wiggle their way out of a jam. In command of this series, 2-0, heading to Milwaukee. It's going to be a hostile environment. And you could argue, the Pacers have won both these games 1 and 2, haven't played their best, right? I mean, they shot the crap out of the ball in the first quarter, but 10-0 run to get it to 2 points down the stretch. They find a way to win. What is going to be the key first true road game? Tyrese Halliburton always says the playoffs don't start till you win a game on the road. What's going to take a commanding control of this series 3-0?
It's going to be super tough, which they've already admitted. And last time they went to Milwaukee, up 2 games, 3-1 last year, they lost Game 5 without Damian Lillard and Giannis playing, right? They know that this can be tough. The Bucks are fighting for their season, series lives, whatever you want to say. I think the first thing is going to be mentality, and that's been a big growth point you've seen from the Pacers this year compared to last year already, just by winning a Game 1. They didn't do that a single time last year, as you just mentioned, right? They've already shown progress as more of a veteran team, even though they're still largely a young group, and Milwaukee's a hostile group. I was there last year. That fan base will be ready for those games, and if the teams hit each other, the fans certainly feel the same way. So surviving that'll be key, and the Bucks are going to have to adjust in some way to finally stop the Pacers in some way, whether it's a new defensive scheme, I would guess a new lineup of some sort, opening the game. The Pacers had to be ready for those adjustments, because if the Bucks actually can get some stops, they've shown that their transition offense is good. Giannis scores whenever he wants. He shot 70% today. They've got to be ready for whatever those adjustments are. They might sink in Game 3.
Yeah, Giannis, nearly a 40-20 game. My goodness, the Pacers are saying, take what you want. We will still beat you, and that has come to fruition in both Games 1 and 2. Pascal Siakam, 24 points, 11 boards. Tyrese Halliburton, 21 points, a huge bounce back for him from Game 1 to Game 2. 12 assists as well. He just continues to make the right plays, find the guys that are open. Not so overrated, if you ask me. A poll came out on The Athletic naming him, anonymously, I might add, the most overrated player in the NBA. Rick Carlisle not pleased about that, and Tyrese Halliburton showing he doesn't care, and he'll continue to do what's right and make the plays to win.
That's how he always has been. I like that answer from him, because younger Tyrese Halliburton always took internet things and used them as motivation, which is why I wondered and asked him today, did that impact your play at all? But he certainly played, to me, very similar to the way he played in Game 1, was generating similar shots. When I asked him after Game 1, he said, yeah, I hope I get the same shots again in Game 2. This time he made them, right? And that's a big difference. It made him look a lot better. And I forget the stat, but there's something like 25 and 3 when he scores 20+. He got over 20+ today, and they won. They're good when he's good.
They're good when he's good, and the Pacers were all sorts of good here. Game 2 of this playoff series, it's going to be a highly anticipated Game 3. Bucks and Pacers Friday. Eli Gain will be there for us, so be sure to get our coverage on air, and of course right here on WTHR+. And give Locked On Pacers a listen. This guy knows everything about the Pacers. He is a great source of information, so you're going to watch Tony East. Anyway, thanks for joining us here at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. It was as loud as you've ever heard. The thing I'll leave you with is Rick Carlisle said it was deafening in here, as loud as he's ever heard it. That's including Eastern Conference Finals, 2000 Finals. I mean, he's had a lot of games in this place. He said it was as loud as you've ever heard it. Good on you, Pacers fans. 2-0 series lead heading to Milwaukee on Friday. We'll see you there.